Hey everyone, this is Mike,
And this is Josh.
and we are Real Dead, and we got a
Yes.
real special video here for you. We're giving out our top 10 favorite movies of 2023. These had to be movies we've seen. Josh, you and I agreed on some of these, right? And then some of them
Yeah,
maybe I saw that you didn't see, or you saw that I didn't see.
that's right.
It was hard. It was hard to get down to 10 of them, right?
That's right. These are movies that came out in 2023, not just ones we saw in 2023. These are movies that
All right.
came out in 2023, and these are a list of 10 of our favorites.
And these
We'll
are
let
not
you know.
ranked from they're not ranked from best to worst. We're just
No,
10 movies we both agreed on, and then some Josh had and I had
right, and that
separately.
we recommend that you check out if you have not. So I'm going to start off here with, I think, one of the best of the year, and it came with the gore, it came with all of that, and it really is looking bright for this franchise. And that was Evil Dead Rise. And Mike
Yeah.
actually saw this before me and told me, Josh, you got to go see it. Or you got to see this, blah, blah, blah. But I held off. I didn't watch it for months. And then it was on HBO Max. And I'm like, yeah, I'll check it out because I'm a big Evil Dead fan. Always have been. The original three. I even like I think it was 2013 remake. I don't remember the year exactly, but the remake I actually enjoyed. And then this came out, and I'm like, okay, what is it all about? And yeah, really enjoyed it. I thought I had a good story. I like how it was contained in the building. Um, and yeah, I enjoyed it, man. And the gore was plentiful, right, Mike?
Yeah, it was a great movie. Definitely me and my son went and saw this one. And I like Josh said, I was hounding him like, man, you got to see that. You got to see it. And for a long time, it was my favorite movie of 2023. Overall, it got bumped out of the way towards the end of the year, but it was one of my favorite. So now mine, one for me, and this movie I just saw it 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I don't know why this movie grabbed me so much because some people hate it. And no, it's not The Exorcist Believer, but this movie really grabbed me, and in fact, it grabbed me so much. Me and my wife and son were watching it. There was so many jump scares in it, which I know Josh doesn't like those. But it is a creepy movie. It's a fan footage film called Hell House Origins: The Carmichael Manor. It's part 4 of this series of Hell House movies, and it got me hooked so much. I went back and watched the first 3. I personally think this is still the best out of the 4, the last one that came out. It's kind of got a cult following. If you like the fan footage film, this one mixes in regular shots and fan footage at the same time. So it's not an entire Blair Witch type movie. It just shows you bits and pieces of found footage. I really liked it. Scared the crap out of me. My son threw something up in the air, and it really freaked me out. So that's one for me for this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I have not seen that one. So I'll say, or Michael say if we haven't seen, and I have not
Okay.
seen that one yet, but it sounds good. Next one, I think, man, it's got to be in the running for the best of the year, in my opinion, and that is Talk to Me. It was original. I thought it had original. I mean, it's a possession type thing, but it was a new take on it. It wasn't like oh, the devil's here and I got to get a priest and all this stuff. It wasn't that. It was like a cool take on it with a viral feel, like totally in today's environment, which I liked that. I thought that was a cool take on it. And the hand, you didn't really know a lot about this hand, like where it came from. Kind of there was like stories behind it, and it was a pretty deep movie, in my opinion, that dealt with grief and dealing with different things, and or not dealing with loss, um, and how that affects you. I think so. Yeah, I think it was really well done, well written, and I look forward to seeing. Well, they're gonna have it's already confirmed, but Talk to
Yeah,
Me Too. I look forward to Talk to Me Too. And now, Mike, you went and seen this as well.
yeah. I think this is in my top 3. It may be number 1 for me.
Yeah,
So I
it's
agree.
awesome.
We won't give too many spoilers in this so that you can go back and watch these. Talk to Me is a top 3 for me for all of 2023. It was awesome. The
Yeah,
whole Ouija
really good.
board, and it's just a different spin on it. It kind of went like a 3D, 4D thing where I just really liked it.
Yep, me too.
Um, another one for me, which is in my top 3 also, for the whole year, is When Evil Lurks. Man, this movie kicks you in the nuts. I mean, it's a scary, freaky movie. Now you do have to read the whole thing. It's going to be in captions because it's in Spanish. I think it takes place in Argentina. But man, some of the there's jump scares in it that aren't really like intended jump scares. There's just some freaky stuff in this movie, and it's kind of got some of that evil in it as well. It's a different spin on the evil. It's not like you said priest, and they do have some in this, but it's not like an exorcist where we're trying to get the devil out of something. But it's a really good movie, and definitely need to go back and see this when you have about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Great movie. And reading the caption doesn't take you away from enjoying the movie. So that's a top 3 for me.
I've seen this movie yet, but I think I should plan on seeing it. I don't mind reading captions. So I might have to do that. Definitely.
You may have to watch it by yourself because I don't know if your Michelle could handle that one.
Oh, okay. Okay. So my next one is an all-time franchise favorite of mine. In my opinion, it was really good. There was some things that were kind of like, but overall, very solid film. And I'm talking about Scream 6. I know, Mike, me and you were excited when this movie was coming out. Like, we didn't know what to really expect. And I think it delivered. I think it delivered on, it promised more violence and gore. It did that, in my opinion. I mean, I think it did deliver. Now, it didn't deliver on the New York setting as much as we thought it would. But that's okay. But where it did deliver is the set design, where they have, I talk about this every time I talk about the movie because it's incredible. It's like a museum that someone built of all past Scream memorabilia from all the like different incidents that happened, and it's just incredible to see it on display at the end. And the characters, are likable and stuff. And I think as we know now, I think it was a fitting end for the sisters, the Carpenter sisters. So I think it was a fitting end, and I look forward to see what they're going to do with Scream 7 for sure. It sounds like it's going to be a new playing field. So.
Yeah, Scream 6 was a good movie. I love the subway scene and the Halloween that they pulled into it. So, not subway, but the subway when it was on the train riding. So
I love that. I love that too. Yeah, I said I love that too.
So next for me is one that just came out recently. And some of these movies are it's kind of the vibe on how you watch them, I think, and what you expect out of them.
Yeah.
But next for me is Thanksgiving. I mean, just came out, Eli Roth. There's some cheesy stuff in it. Some of the accent's cheesy, but to me, some of that is intentional, trying to go back to the 80s and 90s slasher type movies, because you know what? The Halloween and the Friday 13th in the 80s were not the greatest acting movies either. It's kind of a play on that. So I kind of like that feeling like you could go back in time 40 years ago, set in a movie and watch, Michael Myers and Jason. You're going in here and you're seeing one of the new killers. I think is going to be around for a while.
Yeah.
And was it Carver? Is his last name?
Yeah, John Carver.
John Carver. Really cool.
I like the mask.
Yep, the mask looks cool. And I think it's a good movie. Some cheesy kills, some good kills, but to me that's what makes it fun. And I laughed some at this. I didn't cry, and I did there's a couple of jump scares in here, but it's pretty good. It's got the gore too.
Yeah, this is actually the first ever horror movie that me and Mike saw together in a theater. That was a pretty cool experience as well. It does have elements of that. It also has elements, like you said, of like the 90s slashers where it was like a whodunit, like Scream or I Know What You Did Last Summer, stuff like that. It did have elements of those movies as well. I did enjoy that one, Mike, for sure. I think it was all right. The next one on my list is one that I'm a big fan of the franchise, and that is Saw X. And it really came through and revitalized this whole franchise. I mean, it really did. I mean, It did over $100 million at the box office. I think it cost like 13 million to make or 15 million. It didn't cost that much to make compared to what it made. And so it's revitalized the Saw franchise. They've already announced that Saw 11 is coming out in August, I think, of next year, August or September.
Wow.
Yeah, they've already announced it. It was only when they announced it, it said 10 months from now, basically. So, like, yeah, it's already announced. It's coming out. I can't wait to see it because I really enjoyed this because to me, this was all about John Kramer / Jigsaw, and it was great because some of the Saw movies, as they go on, of course, John Kramer's dead and he dies in Saw 3. So they have to make these movies with flashbacks and stuff when he is alive. And as they go on and on and on, those get less and less. So you really don't see John Kramer as much as movies go on. So this one was focused on him, and it was great. I highly recommend watching it. Some of the traps were pretty crazy. But yeah, this movie, Saw X takes place between Saw 1 and Saw 2. So it fits perfect in between there for sure. So I highly recommend seeing it, and I can't wait to see what they do with Saw 11.
I haven't seen that yet, and that's one of those. Just like I was telling Josh to go see Evil Dead Rise, he's been telling me to watch Saw X. So I've tried to watch it twice, and I couldn't get it. But for me, it's another fun movie that I saw this a while back. Somebody, I don't know who came out with it. May have been we watched a movie or Dead Meat or somebody had brought it up and said there's a movie coming out, Totally Killer. And I really enjoyed Totally Killer. Again, not a serious slasher horror movie. A lot of fun on the 80s. And it's just a fun movie. A new character. He's wearing a mask. He's stabbing people. But I really enjoyed this movie because it was a different take. I laughed a lot. Some pretty good kills in it. The actors in it were really good to be young actors. The main character, she's awesome. But I think it's one of those that either came out straight on, what was it? It wasn't Shudder, or was it Netflix or one of them? It came straight out on streaming. I think it did maybe went 1 or 2 weeks in the theaters before.
I thought it was either on like Peacock or Hulu or something.
It may be Peacock then. It may be Peacock. But it's definitely worth seeing. Totally Killer. If you're in my mid 40s, late 40s to 50, early 50s, you're going to love it because it takes you back in time. A little bit of a time travel thing there with Back to the Future. So it's not serious. But if you go into it thinking it's serious, you're going to hate it. It's just a fun, campy movie.
Yep. I like I watched that as well. And the part one of the things I really enjoyed about it was a girl from 2022 went back to like 1980, I think it was like 6 or whatever it was. And so she was seeing the world through her eyes and how much stuff like was just different, you know.
It's not politically correct back then.
Yeah,
right?
it was funny to see that, you know. It just was. I enjoyed that part of the movie. So yeah, totally Killer. I give the thumbs up on that one as well. So the last one I'm gonna say an honorable mention before I say my last one. And the honorable mention is a movie. It's not technically a movie that was in the theater or anything. It was on YouTube, and it was they call it a fan film, but I think that's kind of like doing it injustice because this is more than a fan film. I mean, this has real actors in it. This has, real production. This has a lot of time and care put into this movie, but it was like 30 minutes, right, Mike?
Yeah.
And it's Dylan's Nightmare.
Yeah.
Is that the full title? It's really good. It's about it's actually a sequel to Wes Craven's New Nightmare from the 90s, where he did a thing about Freddy Krueger, a movie, and it's kind of a sequel to, or it is a sequel to that. And they actually got the kid that played in that. I can't remember his name right now, but he actually was in that as a little kid, and now he's in this, and he hasn't done a lot. I don't think. I think they were saying so. He also was Gage in Pet Sematary and other things, but it's definitely to check out for a half hour. The guy that plays Freddy does a really good job, in my opinion, and it's just for what it was really good, and I highly recommend it.
I agree.
The last one on my list is another fan film, but this one's a little longer, and I think they had more of a budget, and also has past fan films, which I don't like them calling that. Like I said, I think this is actually a love letter to Jason, in my opinion, and that's Never Hike Alone 2. This had a lot of anticipation. There was already 2 movies before it, Never Hike Alone and Never Hike Alone in the Snow. Both of those are before this movie, but then technically this movie takes place like during those, like before a little bit and then after. Jason in this is awesome, just like he was in the past movies. Yeah, they call him. I think they call him Ghost Jason. They call this version Ghost Jason, but Jason is probably one of the best portrayals, in my opinion, of Jason since some of the earlier Friday the 13th movies, in my opinion. Yep. He's really good, and some of the kills in it are awesome. And it brings back old characters. Tommy Jarvis gets his, basically another movie about him and the story with Jason, which I really liked. I enjoy the 3 Tommy Jarvis movies. So I think this was a really good fan film, Mike.
Yep. I agree. It's an awesome movie. We watched that the night it came out, and is it Vicente is his last name? I can't remember, but he's done a great job. He's really good. The franchise needs to hire him to put out a movie. His movie's great. So my honorable mention is going to be a movie called Sick. So before I give you my final one, but Sick. And I think it's one of those that came out straight on Netflix or Hulu.
Peacock.
I
think it was either Hulu or Peacock again.
Okay. So it was really good. It's kind of a play on the whole COVID thing, and everybody's kind of tired of COVID, but it is really good because it's a whodunit, kind of back to the 70s and 80s or 80s and 90s. The whodunit, who's the killer, acting's pretty good in it. So that's my honorable mention. Not going to go too far into it. It's definitely worth checking out. Also, Never Hike Alone 2. You can see that on YouTube. Don't have to pay for it.
No,
go check it on YouTube.
Yeah,
and also,
watch
honorable
it. Support
mention
them.
You gave Dylan's Nightmare. That's also on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
You can do a search on it.
Go support them by watching those.
Yeah, please do, and hit that thumbs up, like for them as well.
Yeah.
My last one was actually one of the first ones that came out in January, and it's it may be the only PG-13 I have on my list, and that's Megan. I thought that franchise, I know who owns it and everything, but it's got so much potential.
Yeah.
I like the new character. It kind of reminds me of Chucky a little bit. And Megan's just a badass AI.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see what they're going to do with Megan 2.0.
Yep.
Everybody was wearing at Halloween. The last 2 Halloweens, people were wearing the outfits. Yep. Universal down at was it Disney or Universal? One of them, they had like the 8 or 9, 10 of them doing the Megan dance. It is a really good movie. I like a little bit more blood and guts and gore. Personally, they do have a R-rated version of this that came out. I haven't
seen that.
I haven't either, but I still think it's going to be one of the biggest franchises going forward.
Yeah,
with this new character.
Well, we're waiting for a NECA figure, Mike. So
that's right. I'm waiting for my Toonie Terror. All right, Josh. Anything else you got to say, man? That's a pretty good list, I think.
Yeah, it was good. I think those are solid picks for the year.
Hey, that's 12 movies we gave you. How many of those have you seen? If you haven't seen them, go check them out and let us know what you like, what you don't like. Again, some of these Josh and I both agreed on, so we just split down the middle of it and started calling out what we like. But you guys have a good one.
Bye.